Hey, so I'm trying this new app called Double Take, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on this where you can film two things at once, which that's really cool, and you can pick different like split screen and I don't know what you call this where it shows the square thing, but whatever. It's pretty cool actually. I like it. Um, so I just guess I do this small blog on myself. I'm camera shy. My speech. I'm so judgmental because I always think about my speech and how I present. Um, so I'm taking 4 classes at USM University of Southern Maine University, and I'm taking 4 classes. Okay, my speech is gonna be really bad right now. Sociology, psychology, economics, and social welfare. One of the class, I get too a little bit emotional because it's definitely bringing back a lot of flashback. It's the psychology, so we have to deal with life situation. We have to collect data, analyze the behavior that person is doing, what caused the behavior, and time latency, and we have to in real life pick a situation that we have to work on. It being one of our projects. The first project is choosing a behavior that we everyday humans have a certain behavior that we don't even realize. Like, I guess the minor behavior would be like, I drink too much coffee. So what can I change that behavior? And what's causing it and getting to the little nitty-gritty. But what's coffee, everyone's addicted to coffee. I think most people would not choose their personal behavior that not willing to share out those that is just want to keep that to themselves. I could definitely pick a lot of behaviors that I could definitely change in my life, which is very hard. Also, in the psychology class, we do watch videos and we watch these pretend actors, 2 staffs, and one person was like severe autism or something, and she started hitting herself and pulling hair or whatever, and that kind of like brought flashback to me because I had to deal with that with real life situation with my sister who is blind and mentally delayed challenge. The teacher did warn the class that we will be watching intense videos on those kind of behaviors, and I was like, oh my god, really? Like, I don't want to walk through that path at all, because when you have to see a real life situation, it's scary because at that age when I was young, I didn't know what to do. It was very emotionally hard for me to even have to deal with that at that young age, to help your sister not bang her head so hard and keeping her calm and with soothing music and stuff. I think that's really like challenging, and it's kind of when like going to psychology class and holding that feeling like I have experienced that in real life, and it's like that's I feel like they're not really like people like even realize that there's one person in this class who dealt with it, but it's a good class. It's required for my social work. I chose social work because I want to help other people in society and the state of Maine and helping with other families with autism, and hopefully like to help other families too, and adoptive families too, because I'm adopted myself, and I feel like it's important to adopt kids for a reason, not because you feel like it's a holy Christian thing to do, that you're saving someone else's life. But in reality, it's like, don't adopt because to make you feel like you're a saint or something. It's really hard to talk about this because a lot of people may disagree on this, but this is my aspect. And I'm very grateful that I came to this country. I really am. I mean, like, United States, come on. It's like a golden ticket, you know, in Willy Wonka, you win your golden ticket. But people really should think about adoption, not just like, oh, I save a child. And the parents should be like, you should be grateful because I adopted you, and you shouldn't behave this way. You have a perfect, you have a good life here in the U.S. Why are you being so like depressed or like emotionally or something like that? It's a lot. I mean, like, I'm not gonna go into details like what my personal life about it. That's for maybe down the road when I'm ready for that. But it's really interesting. Like, an adopted household, it's just so much that's going on in your life, and you're like, not just only that. It's really interesting because my sister, well, one of my adopted sister, like, was really interesting. She is from Ethiopia, and she had a hard life in Ethiopia. I understand her brother left her in the orphanage and prayed that she'd come to America. And she did come to America. But it was like the American dream that she didn't expect to happen. She came to this really low income housing where like handicapped kids, another few blind people in the house, like, wait a second, we're all the rich American families. And it's like, yeah, the American, no, it doesn't go that way. Yes, this is because your friend from Ethiopia who is adopted to this really wealthy family and gets to go vacation in France and have 3 or 4 summer homes and went to the best schools, university and all that. But this is not our family. Our family is complicated. It's unique. I would say our house is very unique. I definitely have to say that for sure. It's growing up in Maine, in Surrey, has definitely brought a lot of interesting things that I learned over the years. I think the best thing about growing up in Surrey is having a lot of pets and living near the ocean, and like, I think that's the best thing, actually, living in Maine and going to Acadia National Park and having nature right there. But underneath all of that stuff, like the ocean and Surrey and how gorgeous it is, I think is definitely a lot of struggles. But with my social work, I definitely want that to be a priority of making sure parents adopt for a reason, like, not just for like, I want to save someone's life, I want to change, like, that kind of bullshit speech. No. Yeah, I also want to work with people with trauma. I think that's really important, because if you don't deal with trauma in your life, then you're never going to get anywhere. Now, there's this term that I use called the rabbit hole, when you feel trapped inside in your hole, but you feel safe, but gradually everything gets to get smaller and smaller in your rabbit hole, and you're just too afraid to get out. That is not a good thing. You need to get out of your rabbit hole, like, jump out. Yes, it is scary at times, but you have to get out of that rabbit hole, because if you're stuck in that rabbit hole, then you're trapped forever. So I think I used that term on one of my adopted brothers who is from Ethiopia. He is blind, and I am not afraid to share any of my life story right now, like, especially in this situation in life. I definitely learned, like, not, like, I don't care what people really think much. Like, I feel like honesty, truth is an important thing to share to people, because it's the truth. You're not hurting them. You want them, like, it's kind of weird. Like, I want to help someone, but I can't because that certain thing is in the way. And it's like, trauma is a serious thing, but you just can't. You have to learn how to work through your trauma. Yes, validate that you have this trauma. Validate that when you were 5 years old, that tragic event happened to you in Ethiopia, and what can you do to move forward while you know I can't change the past because that's never gonna happen, but you have to move forward with the past. So I definitely learned that with myself. Like, I can't change what happened in the past. Now, if we had a time machine, maybe I would try to fix things, but that's not what, we don't have that. But anyways, I did my best. I try to help pretty much everyone in my household, but I think it's time to help myself, and I'm glad I'm going to school. I'm glad I'm feeling like I'm able to breathe a little bit, able to say no and yes, and I don't care how certain people say, oh, Marty, why would you say that? Like, yeah, it's good that you're doing stuff for yourself, but you need to think of others. Like, I helped others for like the past year, since pretty much I was 9 years old. What kind of normal childhood that is, but it was good. I mean, hey, I grew up in a household, and my mom has a friend in Connecticut who has like 13 other kids from international, and it's just like, is this normal to like just adopt? I mean, I'll never forget that house. Oh my god, it's like I was so in love with this person when I was like 12 years old. But anyways, so I'm glad that he is happily engaged. So I don't know where my future would be with. So it was good to know all these adoptive families from around the United States. Like, there's a family in Michigan who adopted like 26 or 27. I lost track, and they're all disabled, and it's like, oh my god, who adopts 26 kids? Like, oh man, that's just crazy. There's gotta be a reason to adopt 26. 9 adopted kids in Maine, but like, okay, 13, 26. The one in Connecticut, we're 12 and all, so maybe like one number difference on that. But I think most adopted kids don't like to be openly sharing their personal growing up in an international household and just dealing with like what goes on in that. I think that's the biggest thing that's the hardest, is we adopted kids smile and say that we're good, we're going to school and we're excelling, but in the end of the day you're like, man, like, wow, okay. But yeah, and you smile and all that stuff, but it's like, okay. But I think when you like look at it adopted, like, what can I do to change it? And that's what I'm doing as a growing adult who is now like 33, who should have been like, okay, I went to like Boston Newman School of Photography, and I started to be this photographer, like being this amazing photographer and go out and travel the world. No, I end up going back to Maine, helping my siblings and being like, just transferring my sister to another group. That didn't work out. And then like transition her to Downey's Horizon. In the last like few years, neighbors be like, oh, she's still here. I remember like just getting my license, and if we have this one neighbor who's like really like interesting. He's quite a character. I think of him in that character book movie. He's always curious, like, about certain things, and it kind of drove me crazy, but I would have to drive my sister to music therapy, and oh my god, I know how stressful that was for me. So I would like literally just tell him, like, she just want you to play the piano. Like, making her play the piano, it's just not gonna happen. So that was really stressful. Like, I had to drive her to music therapy. It's like 20 minutes or so. I was like, oh my god, no, I can't deal with that. The scratching and the biting, throwing the piano key. I was like, no. So that was stressful. But anyways, what calmed me that most was going hiking and like playing music, the clarinet, for my sister. Yeah, so pretty much in a nutshell. So back to the photography. So I was like going to Boston for 2 years. I lived with this host family who it didn't really work out. But I found the Quaker House by someone who was going to live at the Quaker House, but she went to Africa that year I was looking. So I stayed at Beacon Hill Friends House. So that really made a good impact on me. I was able, but I was still drawn to going back to Surrey, and that's what I did. I went back to Surrey, and but I think maybe that's a good thing because it really helped me like build more of my, like, help me build me feel a little bit more like stronger and figure out things. Yes, we all make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then how are you gonna grow, right? So that happened, and then gradually like I was getting kind of like a little bit depressed and stuff. So but then somehow my Ethiopian brother like applied to the Irish Network apartment, and then I moved in with him. But long shot short, few years like in between that I had like mental like breakdowns. But anyways, but then I realized something has to change. So therapy, I went to therapy, but therapy was just another story. But I'm still in therapy, and I found a therapist I really like, and someone recommended me to it, and she's pretty good. I'm able to talk to the therapist a lot more than the last past therapist, because I felt other therapists would judge me like, oh my god, that really happened, like what? I mean, like, yeah, like it's like, I know it's kind of like a Woody Allen scene. It's like I don't even want to like talk about it. It's like holy shit. Yeah, so I break it down to that. I mean, I'm not gonna deny it, and it's like I was in a stuck situation in my life, and it's like something that you would not think. I'm sure I'm not alone in this, because I know like other adopted households had to deal with that situation. And but art, I mean, while I was in that situation, I was doing a lot of art processing. I mean, art is incredible because it gives you the tool to express yourself. It gives you the tool to let out a lot of your emotions. So it's incredible. So I was doing a lot of art. I went to SMCC, Southern Maine Community College, part time, while I was dealing with my other stuff. Like for the first few years while I was living in Portland, I was driving back and forth to Surrey, helping my adopted mom. And it's just like enough of that for now. So I was going to Mecca, but Mecca didn't turn out because due to my mental health. And then what I really wanted, and I think everything that was connected to that, I mean, I personally think I would have graduated from Mecca if I was in a better living situation, but whatever. But I mean, it's definitely grow, but Mecca's like 50,000 so a year, and it's really such expensive art school. And if I was going to Mecca, going to art school, I think I'd rather go to RISD, Rhode Island School of Art. If I'm going to spend a lot of money investing into the student loan for art, I think I would go into RISD. I think Corcoran, but then I went online, like now Corcoran College of Design is now part of George Washington University. But I think with my social work, I want to use art therapy and then use my master's, hopefully get my master's in counseling. So 3 years to get my bachelor's in social work, 1 year to get my master's in counseling, and hopefully somewhere by that, I have this goal, but by 36 I will have those degrees and be in student loan debt. But it's worth it, I think, to do that. And I'm pretty proud of myself for where I am at now. And, people just need to, like, let it go. Like in that front, let it go. I can't sing. But, yeah, I think it's really important. Life is short. You need to forgive. And then I realize you can do your best to help someone, but they have to do the rest. So my siblings out there who are struggling, like, we did our best. We are trying to help you, but you got to take the extra step to move forward and work on it. And it's just like, you have to face it. And the only way you can face it when you have people who are healthy around you. And when you don't have healthy people around you, that you're not able to grow. You're not able to like figure out who you are and how to process your pain and trauma. Trauma thing. Some people believe like therapy is totally waste. Like when I was younger, in my early 20s, I thought therapy was a waste and blah blah blah, but it wasn't. I was just scared. I was scared to jump out of my rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole can be safer now, but in the meantime, you will get trapped, and it's going to get smaller, and everything around you are going to lose all your resources in that rabbit hole. But it works for now, but down the long run, it's not. No, I didn't make the rabbit hole made up. I just thought of it. It's like, my therapist like, where'd you throw of that idea? Like, I made it up in my head. I was sitting in my old like psychologist small office, and I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm in a rabbit hole. And then I realized it's a rabbit hole. I need to get out of that rabbit. And who's in my rabbit hole that's not healthy for me? And then I changed everything around. So you know what? I'm glad that I can make mistakes, not feel afraid, try to be independent, and it's okay to ask for help, because there's nothing wrong to ask for help. We're all not independent people, and people who say they're independent, they need help. They all need help. We all need help, and it's like, don't be shy about asking for help. So I'm so busy with my art, but school, I want to work on more on my art. I have so many art sketchbook that I really want to like publish them, and I have my other like big massive journal that I wrote over the years, like while I was like trying to figure out all my shit that was going around my head. Like, I have a stack of journals printed out that's very personal and deep, that I want to share one day to the people, to share to the world, because I think it's important to share this in the view of an adoptive child. Grew up in born in Cambodia, and I think it's quite interesting. Like, I went back. I was fortunate to go back. I'm grateful for my former mentor, but my former mentor, that has changed too as well. And I processed this in therapy, and I feel I'm not ready to talk to her yet, because it's hard, because long story is just really hard right now to talk about that part too. I think there'd never be a time to be ready. I don't think I ever will be ready. She was great. She was wonderful. It was good. I think when I got older, I think I started to realize a lot of stuff is everything around me that's part of everything, and I definitely know that. I mean, yeah, she definitely did witness that. But she doesn't know the whole story of my life, and I think she would never will understand. But maybe one day. But that's another story. Anyways, but yeah. Well, connected to my Cambodian sister, who I came with to the U.S. when we were really little. And so I'm talking to her now. Her cat passed away, so I was like, oh my god. Like, oh no, my most adorable cat, Rex. So, yeah, I see my Cambodian sister more often. She's married to Keith, and she's happy. She's going to school. She's taking like 7 classes. So that's pretty amazing. She's had surgery. She had to get her leg amputated for a health reason because she was, yeah, so that's a big change for her. I see my older sister, who I look up to. She's amazing. Adorable kids who are now 11 and like 13, and they're definitely hockey players, and I'm proud of them. And I look up to my older sister a lot because she's just amazing. Yeah, and she makes really good chocolate. And let's see, I think that's pretty much. I'm really gonna focus on school, and I'm gonna end this here because there's people may hear my other people in the background because someone came home. All right, so that's my life story, short life vlog sort of thing. So, all right, happy Super Bowls.